This website is called Look Into Bitcoin. I've just been playing with it all morning. It's really interesting the information that they have here. Most websites charge you for this kind of stuff, and the fact that they're offering it for free, I'm assuming, as of now, it's awesome. So I believe Philip Swift is the guy who made this Positive Crypto, so shout out to him. Because most of this information they make you pay for. But listen, this is a red flag. This is called whale shadows. Basically, this pink line, these pink bars are Bitcoins that have become active after they haven't moved for 7 years, based on what this says. And more often than not, when they do start spiking, there's a top. So they did spike in September and we fell off the table and then continued higher, but then they spiked again and then we fell down. What's really alarming here is the spike height on this one. It matches the top of March. So I'm not saying we have to fall down, but if this is going to be one of the few indicators that point to us moving lower, I think this is something that we need to look at because the fact that wallets are moving that haven't moved in 7 years, combined with the fact that every time they do move, like the size of it moving, combined with the fact that when they do move, more often than not, there is a capitulation. I think it's something that needs to be addressed or at least looked at. So I think it's a red flag for sure. Like if we start moving down and we take out, so I have here the 39,000. There's so much support down here. However, the reality is if the chart or if the capitulation rather is about to play out, then we're going to blow right through that. And for me, 36,000. So what I meant to say was 39,000 was what we're looking at for the continued uptrend. However, 36,000 is literally the macro uptrend, and it's the 786. So if it's not a matter of if a break below 36K would actually probably confirm a move down like this, in my opinion at least. So 39,000 is still what I'm watching for any type of bullish continuation, but any break below this, 36K is the next area, and it's not a matter of if we hold this, we'll bounce. It's breaking this, in my opinion, sends us back down here for one last capitulation, which is what many people have been calling for. Um, However, I do believe the confusion, as I've pointed out in the past couple of videos, has been, bear market 2020, bear market November, bear market May. But looking at this in-depth information, it does appear that, people are getting out. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're selling. It just means that they're moving the Bitcoin, which, put two and two together, they're moving Bitcoin to an exchange. There are times where they have spiked and we have gone higher, obviously. So I'm not saying, oh, we're going down to 5K, but it's definitely something that I felt was important to bring, to light because the reality is when they do spike, we usually fall off the table more often than not. So combining with a break below 36K, I not only is that not bullish, but I would actually say like we're actually going to capitulate, which everything that I've pointed out, if you've I've kind of gone away from it, but if you guys remember, I did have some type of crazy capitulation set up. I got rid of it, unfortunately, but every metric points to the bear market coming to an end, in my opinion. And a capitulation obviously results in the end of a bear market. So I've pointed this out time and time again where we've been the same price for actually 67 weeks. That's extremely long. That's actually longer than this one, which was obviously followed by a capitulation. This one was also followed by a capitulation. This was also a capitulation. So a capitulation is now not ruled out just because of the fact that we're moving down combined with this, I think is something that I really, wanted to bring to light because if the chart starts breaking down and whales are getting out, then you put two and two together, there's nowhere else for us to go but back down here. So either way, this is obviously not bullish, and I've been on the record for saying like, I don't think it happens. But now we're starting to flip to the downside. So I can't keep saying we're going to 100K even if we're about to go like this, because if this happens, you can't say we're going to 100K. But the reality is, in my opinion, I would say breaking 36K would pretty much, I think, shatter a lot of people, and we would probably end up capitulating down. So still watching for 39K, still watching for that. But I wanted to highlight that there's actually Bitcoin moving around right now that hasn't moved in 7 to 9 years, and I don't think that's necessarily bullish. I think that's more bearish than anything. And then another thing I wanted to look at was the bull market support band. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it could be because I'm reading it wrong. It never acts as support. We just blow right through it every time. So maybe I'm reading it wrong. But one thing I do have to highlight is when it flips from green to red on the monthly, there's usually a capitulation. So just something to point out. We flipped from green to red. We're testing it right now as support at 40K. So like I said, 39K, that breaks. I just don't see how that's bullish. And a break below 36K, I would actually say we're getting ready to go down to sub 30K, in my opinion. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. But again, seeing this, in my opinion, it was kind of a red flag for me. Like, okay, we might actually be going down now. So it's something that I wanted to point out. As always, it's just my opinion. None of this is financial advice. You always have to do what's best for you. So still watch for 39K, 38.8, whatever it's going to be. But any lower than 39K, and it's just not bullish at all. And then not a matter of being bullish, it's a matter of not going to zero, breaking below 36K for a move back to 28 and change. So, a lot of people are looking for sub 28K. It is also possible that we come down to 28 and a lot of people get stuck on the sidelines. But either way, after looking at all of these metrics, whatever you want to call this, bull, bear market, it's coming to an end, in my opinion. So I think, as I said when we were back here, I said we're either going to get this capitulation or we're going to blast out of here. I don't think we're going to do this for much longer. However, now that we're getting rejected and moving down, I would have to say a break below 36 is more likely for this than this. So considering we made a higher low or a higher high here, a break below 36K, I don't see that, well, that's 39K. Yeah, for sure, a break below 36K, in my opinion, I don't see that as bullish at all, because you can see we've tested the same price point, 36K, twice already, but we were making lower highs. If we make a higher high here and come back to the same point, in my opinion, I just don't see it. I would say, combined with the fact that, Bitcoin is moving around and it's almost at all-time highs, basically. It is at all-time highs, actually. I would say that's definitely more bearish than bullish. So still going to keep an eye on the prices, but all in all, like I said, I think 39K has to hold to have any type of short-term, not even short-term, but just bullish argument. But 36K is it's not a matter of being bullish or not. It's a matter of, are we actually going to capitulate? And I think 36K breaking would tell us that. So that's pretty much it. Best of luck. Again, just want to highlight. Felt like it was something important to point out. Mayor multiple we looked at as well. So I do think we're near the bottom of this trend, because you can see historically when we put this low in, we start moving up. Can it capitulate one more time? It can, but you can see that this general trend, you're buying closer to the bottom than to the top. I know it sounds like duh, but looking at the Mayor multiple, it does show that we have gone through some type of bear trend, and historically it has ended, with a capitulation. So I would say all eyes on 39K and 36K, and that's pretty much it. So best of luck. As always, none of this is financial advice, and you always have to do what's best for you.